What's going on, guys? Alric Phoenix, the Bad Master here, and this is my last Modern Warfare 3 gameplay and commentary for Modern Warfare 3 as my background. Yes, with Black Ops 2 a mere couple days away, I figured that this is the good day to end it. My next two videos are Black Ops class related before I can actually start posting gameplay. So I wanted this one to be kind of special. So what I'm going to do today is tell the story, because I was reminded of it today. Tell the story of how I got my first job, first full-time job, sorry, working in the video game industry as a QA tester. Because how I got hired, I shouldn't have gotten hired, and I was talking about porn. So, when I finished school, I couldn't get a job to save my life. The game industry 10 years ago was a lot harder if you didn't want to move. You really had to move to get a job in Canada in video games. It's not as big as it is in the States, quite honestly, the number of companies. So I had all these, shitty contracts where I wasn't barely getting paid, but doing a massive amount of work. I was desperate for any and all work, and I did that for a while. Finally, I got a call from a friend of a friend who said, "Hey, my company, which I'll just call Speed, out in Vancouver, is actually looking for people. And you have experience, so why don't you interview over here?" I said, "You know what? Absolutely." I was doing design, but level design and modeling, and I kind of got sick of that. And they were hiring for a QA position, a QA tester, testing the game. And I said, absolutely. So I flew it to Vancouver, and I wasn't sure what to expect at the time. I'd never really gone to a big company's interview process, and it was as weird as I was expecting. They had about 10 of us there, and first there was a team building exercise where they basically stood off to the side with clipboards, does this person work good with others? It was kind of like being in kindergarten for a second. Then there was a personal interview where they interview you one-on-one, and a round of questions which they kind of throw to this entire team of people they're interviewing all at once. Because they interview so many people, they kind of had to do it all at once. Now, the way they interviewed is interesting, because at the time, this company, which we'll call Speed, was listening to a very special hiring company that does a lot of really weird hiring. That company teaches to hire people that really think outside the box. So you never ask direct questions. You don't ask, what's your future goals? What do you want to get out of this job? Why should we hire? They don't ask that. What they do ask is very strange questions, because they want to see how you're going to react to these questions. They also want to see who can really think in different ways, because that's actually what makes someone really good often in the game industry, is a person who thinks in really, really different ways. So we're sitting in this room, and they're going around and saying, okay, and I remember it very clearly, because they said to the first person in the line, how would you explain time, the concept of time, to someone who had no idea what it was before? They'd never heard of it. How would you explain it to this person? And they gave a pretty straightforward answer. The person in line before me, they said, if we were to give you $1 million right now, what would you do with it? And I remember thinking, oh man, I wish I had that question. Because this guy says, I'd buy a house and pay off a mortgage. And I remember thinking, no, you fool. They're not looking for people to pay off their mortgage. They're looking for, I want to build a bumper car full thing in my basement and a Ferris wheel out my roof. That is what I would do. Slides everywhere, going up if possible. And I sat there and I heard this guy say that, and I was like, really? They're looking for different answers than that. Finally, they turned to me, And they said, okay, how would you explain what the internet was to someone that had never heard of it, had no idea what it was? How would you explain it to them? And I sat there and I'm thinking to myself, what is the internet? Because 10 years ago, the internet's changed a bit. 10 years ago it was GeoCities and just pages and pages of women. So, without really thinking it through, I turn to the two interviewees and I say, a giant collection of pornography. And I shut my mouth, and the entire group stared at me in stunned silence, including the interviewers, because I said that one sentence, and I shut my mouth. And they look at me, and the one guy even says, "Would you like to expand on that answer?" And I think for a second, cock my head, go, nope. And they hired me for that. I got hired into my first job in the video game industry by likening the internet to just a giant collection of pornography. And I asked afterwards, and they said, we thought about it afterwards, and we said to each other, he was right. Anyways, hope you liked the little story. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay. It's not a Moab or anything, but it certainly is a lot of fun for me. If you did, throw me a comment. I like to chat with you guys, so I'd love to see a comment on the story if you liked it. Yeah. Anyways, my next video is going to be Black Ops 2, so I hope everyone's as excited as I am. And yeah, this is Phoenix signing out. See you guys later.